How we doing, guys? We got our lineup up here. We transparently show you our lineup, so we'll continue that through the playoffs as well. I think we'll continue doing UFL coverage as well because I love watching that sport. It's like 65 days away from happening already. So I'm a football junkie, so we'll be here for that. But we'll continue this through the playoffs. But because there's very few games and we only have so much to talk about, we might as well just go through game by game. We were saying before we started that the Rams and the Carolina probably was the best game. It was the most exciting game to watch. It got slightly worse throughout the week, but I thought most of the playoff games were very entertaining. Maybe it was the fact that we had some new matchups and we had some new blood. Kansas City and the traditional teams were out of it, and I don't know. It was I thought the weekend as a whole was pretty well. So I'll welcome in Donnie, Gov. How we doing, guys?
Doing good. It's a solid divisional weekend or wild card weekend. It's going to be a solid divisional weekend, honestly. All 4 games are going to be good next week.
The first year of the 7-seed playoffs where we don't call it a super wild card weekend, it actually was a super wild card weekend.
Yeah.
I don't I know a lot of people have contributed to the matchups being different and knowing that we'll probably get a new Super Bowl, like a first-time Super Bowl champion, that's more possible than ever before. All these reasons, I just think they're good games. I don't know if something specifically happened to make them good. I think we're just in a good spot in the league. But I've kind of always thought that. I think that there's a lot of good young quarterbacks. There's some good storylines. But I guess I'm just a football guy. As long as there's DFS and as long as there's good angles and strategy behind it, I'll watch. So maybe I watch Houston and Pittsburgh, for example. So, I'll watch any football as long as it's marketed well. Do you think there was any major reason you, obviously, Gov, you watched your Panthers because, that's just your hometown team. Donnie had the Patriots back in there. There wasn't a moment where I wanted to miss any of these matchups. I thought they were all good.
Yeah, the worst game was Texans, but
it was sort of it was a crescendo of the weekend. The first game, Carolina Rams, was insane, and every game just sort of kept being a little less from that point on. The Rams and Carolina game was insane. Then that Green Bay Chicago game and the comeback was insane. And then Buffalo Jacksonville was a great first game on Sunday. And then San Fran Philly was a pretty weird, solid game on Sunday. And then the New England Chargers game was kind of meh.
That was the worst game.
And then the Houston Pittsburgh game was honestly worse than that. If you take away the 2 defensive touchdowns, it's basically the same score as Chargers and New England, except both offenses looked worse.
No, that is true, but I thought there was a chance, at the point in that Steelers and Texans game, I felt like either team could win, and that kept me intrigued. That Chargers-Patriots game, it was pretty clear that Justin Herbert was out there, and it was like a missionary war. There was just no chance. He had no time behind that offensive line. I wanted the Chargers to be competitive in that game, but it was very, very quick and very apparent that they didn't have the weapons to hang with New England. I thought that was the most one-sided game of the weekend. Donnie, any thoughts?
That Patriots game was really one-sided. But that Texans game, I felt like I knew from the start what was going to happen.
I played Texans defense at captain in the showdown. I played a lot of them. So, I was solid all around on that.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing that saved that game for me is it was close. At least that game was competitive. But I agree with you. The Rams and Carolina was the probably the best game of the weekend. Just to get to our lineup so people can see. Obviously, this lineup probably wouldn't have cashed anyways if we're being transparent. But losing Kittle, obviously, as soon as that happened,
Kittle and Nico.
Yeah, but even losing Kittle, I'm like, oh, we can close the app on this team. It doesn't really even matter what Nico did. But you're right, we lose Nico on top of it. This team, I think, had potential in a different universe. It just wasn't this one. Because we were right.
And I remember what we did now. I'm like, I thought the weather was going to be worse in Green Bay and Chicago. So we wanted to play the running game. That's why we had Jacobs and Monunga.
The weather was really good, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that didn't happen, and we should have just played chalk running backs. Like,
yeah, all the weather reports are great.
But there was a lot of fails in that game. Like, Josh Jacobs was the worst fail. Probably from a running back. I want to say he was like 30% owned. It only had like 7 points for the weekend, maybe even less than that. And then Luther Burden was like, I want to say like 15 or 16% and only had like 6 points. So there was a lot of people that just didn't get that game right. Watson was the biggest hit, though. He was pretty chalky, and I believe he had over 20 points. So he was probably the one guy from that game that we didn't have, and that hurt us quite a lot.
No, the guy we needed was like Loveland.
Oh yeah,
he was the nuke of the slate.
That's right, especially being the one-off position with Kittle getting.
If you were playing the 6-gamer, we didn't have Coker or Loveland coming out of Saturday, which was not looking good.
Which I talked to Donnie early, and Donnie was like, "Well, with that Coker performance, you probably needed either Coker or Puka Nacua." And I'm like, "We'll probably be all right but then to get the performance out of Kittle that we got, and to watch Loveland explode,
Kittle getting hurt is basic. Like Kittle getting hurt and Nico getting hurt, you just got to chalk that up. Our thought on our running back, okay, that didn't work out because of the weather. Cooks was okay at his ownership. He didn't do horrible. There weren't really many cheap options that did better. I think there was one different cheap. I think DeMarcus Robinson was the one guy on the 6-gamer that was cheap that you could have played.
Right. And that
BTJ scored a touchdown, so his score is not even that bad. It's just not like the Parker Washington chalk ceiling that ended up happening. But other than that, like our pivots didn't do bad, but 2 of our guys got hurt, and our running back situation didn't work out.
No, and I want to give Donnie some credit because you got to Robinson, Donnie. I think we probably would have had we known, but that's why you should just pay attention to lineups and leave PMR in your lineups for situations like that, which we did. I mean, we had Nico Collins in the lineup, so had we wanted to make that switch, we could have. And so I think that is something just to watch for next week as well, is make sure you leave that PMR open because there could be a Robinson-like situation that opens up. I'm assuming you didn't cash that lineup that even had Robinson in there, Donnie, because I know you had good ownership on it, getting that news late. I'm not sure what the rest of your lineup looked like. You might be frozen now, but I do know you switched to Robinson.
It was ugly. It was
Was it? I mean, I stand by.
Sometimes the switch is trying to save a bad lineup, and it can or can't.
Yeah. Well, the Cook thing especially hit Gov to your point because it worked off of the Allen play, and we got 30 from Allen. So that's why I give the Cook call a lot of praise by us, especially to work through it.
The nuke from the quarterback and the defense and all that snowflake in between is just insane.
Yeah. So if let's just say Kittle or Nico would have played their baseline game, do you think this lineup would have cashed then, in a different? Because that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, this lineup wasn't bad. It just, we needed a different universe than this one. I don't think any of our players.
The cash line was what, 115, 120?
Well, it looks like, 120 would have probably done it. It looks like maybe no 160. I'm sorry.
160. Okay.
Yeah.
Our lineup needed 60-something points or 50-something points to get there. Yeah, no. Too many snowflakes. Even Nico and Kittle being healthy probably doesn't get us there. We made bad mistakes Saturday night with our running backs.
No one
chalk running back failing kind of killed us.
Yeah.
Jacobs is really crazy. Shakir Nuke I could have seen, but that's really what we should have done. Jacobs needed to go down to someone else, needed to be different chalk. different running back, and then adjust from there. Probably really all of our guys did crap, so adjust anyone, and this lineup could have done better.
Yeah, the one I
but
guess
this was just a storm of of injuries. Like this is one of those lines. Like if I had one injured player, I chalk it up as okay. Well, this guy gets injured, but he's in my pool. I can't. Injuries happen. I have to move forward with that. We had 2 injuries in this lineup. It happens. We have to move forward.
Especially on a guy that like would have set this slate apart. Like when you pay up for Kittle, who was like the only high priced tight end. Like if you don't get that separating score from that kind of position at that kind of price, you're going to fail. But that is one thing about this lineup. Like all of our picks, whether it be the Thomas play of my wide receiver, or like all levels, this just snowflaked across the board. Thomas probably was lucky to get 10 points, so I guess I'll put my Jacksonville hope away because maybe that's been hurting me all year. I've lost more money on Thomas than just this playoff slate, unfortunately. I thought he was a better player than he showed this year, and I couldn't believe it. There was numbers to prove it. There was people telling me it was a bad play. And even then, he got lucky to get 10 points. Like, he got 10 points on a touchdown and only
3-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Donnie. That's terrible.
That was a 3-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could be like he was.
The crazy part about that is he was set to nuke.
Yeah.
And then after Parker Washington apparently blocked himself into a concussion,
that's
went back in the locker room and then came back out and had the game he had.
That's exactly it, Gov. I can't. There's no excuse anymore. Thomas failed me, whether it's best ball or this lineup. Like at least Justin Herbert's his offensive line was terrible. He was literally getting killed. Like if you played Herbert on the chance that he might be able to will his team, I could get behind that. Or you were a Panther fan, you want to believe in Bryce Young. They put together a great performance. Thomas just didn't show up. It was bad. Did you guys?
How much Superman Josh?
I'm assuming you're going to talk about Josh Allen and how good he looked running the ball.
Yeah, how much Superman Josh can we trust? Continuing. Do we just keep playing?
I mean, it's the only way they win. He has to play perfect.
Exactly. Do we just keep playing
against Denver?
So
this is probably where they lose. He probably just if we see Buffalo from this year, they probably just lose this game in Denver. Now we look at Denver this year. Buffalo will keep it close in a weirdly low-scoring game. I feel like this is a game where Denver wins 21-17.
I'm
on a drive by Bo Nix in the 4th, which will leave time for Josh Allen to do stuff.
I haven't looked at pricing, but I'm going to assume that Allen's a fade for me as well because coming off of this 30-point game, the box score watchers will see this game. They'll see they're playing a good defense. He'll have to do well. And I'm kind of with Gov. I just don't know if he will do enough to pay off a price tag against a really good defense. I think this is the week that you might want to fade him. And
Stafford against a poor defense.
I think I just go. No, I want the more rushing upside. I want the one-off kind of rushing upside of a rushing quarterback. So I think I might go Bo Nix. Just if you ask me what quarterback to go with, or maybe a Caleb Williams. I want a quarterback that I don't necessarily. Because I think for Stafford, you'd have to double stack him, right, to feel comfortable. I guess they got the weapons. You could do that. You could do it. You could do a Puka and Adams or a Puka and Williams.
This is a weird year now. Not many superstar quarterbacks are left. We have cheap guys.
True. I think my favorite, though, would be just a JSN and Sam Darnold lineup. Because I think they feel
probably the right way. Because I'm trying to think what's the worst defense left in the playoffs? It's San Francisco.
It's San Francisco. We saw it a couple of weeks ago with San Francisco and Chicago, and just the unorthodox shootout they had. And I think the hate on Sam Darnold will keep his ownership lower. Like, just historically,
everyone's expecting pumpkin playoff Sam Darnold.
Yeah. And people get away with the narrative. Like when narratives kind of get overblown, and like, sure, will he have a bad game? Potentially, but like he could have a bit of a Jameis Winston game where one interception is actually good for the passing narrative. So I personally think I'll go to Sam a lot. I guess I would consider Josh Allen because he is Josh Allen. To your point, Donnie, how many superstar outlier performances is there? It's just the stacking partners of the Bills scare me. Do they not scare you? Because I think if they don't scare you, maybe you lean in. It's just like, so if you were to do Allen though, it has to be Kincaid and Shakir, or like are you?
I'm not quite sure of the pricing this week.
Yeah, that's
the thing. Like Shavers is out, so it's.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, Shavers is out. I believe he tore his ACL and then played through the second half last week.
See, that's a good thought experiment because I do like Josh Allen's talent.
Davis is on IR. I mean, he's done.
Gabe?
Yeah.
Gabe Davis is on IR.
I believe so.
Okay, I'm starting to like this more and more. The more condensed you tell me their target shares are, the more I might actually consider some Josh Allen. Maybe you're onto something, Donnie. That's why we do this.
So you're at Shakir, Cooks. They have to play Coleman.
Yeah, IR, Gabe Davis.
And Palmer's out because Palmer's on.
Yeah, and Palmer's out too. So you're talking about Shakir, Cooks. You have to play Keon Coleman as 3. You'll have to bring up Mecole Hardman from the practice squad for a 4.
Curtis Samuel's back.
And then Curtis Samuel's your 5th wide receiver.
Excuse me, Donnie.
Those are his 5. Those are his 5. His 5 wide receivers are Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Brandon Cooks, Mecole Hardman, and who the fuck? What?
Well, that's always been my thing. Is like I don't know who to stack Josh Allen with, but now that they're so cheap, I think a Josh Allen team could work. I'll take it back live on air. I'll own my receipt here. I didn't know the injuries were that severe.
Knox plus any of those, like Shakir plus any one extra wide receiver and Josh, like okay.
And they're cheap enough to make it work too. Like Josh Allen's expensive, but it's not price restrictive because the wide receivers are so cheap. Like I'm assuming Kincaid is going to be quite expensive maybe for a tight end, but like you don't have, like the 49ers don't have a Kittle. Like who are you going to pay up for at tight end?
Let's see. On this slate,
like that's what I'm saying.
Tight end is probably going to be Loveland or Henry.
Exactly. No superstar tight end. That's my point. I know Donnie wants to hope for Henry, but he's not a difference maker at tight end.
Because they use too many tight ends for the Rams, although Parkinson has a thought of he could be pricey.
So tight end's pretty much just whoever you put at quarterback is just going to be.
Funges and Barner. Yeah, there is no real stud tight end. Ingram, I guess, technically was a stud tight end. But he's not used that way in Denver.
You could play Tonjes.
No, there will be plenty of good playable tight ends. I think that's the real point. Is like there's not a real guy you want to try to play and then the rest of the field. It's basically just the field at tight end.
Yeah. Well, that's my point.
It's going to be a 4-gamer, so that's 3 4-gamer strategy. So like I'll probably just pair my tight end with my quarterback.
With quarterback. That's
or at
my
least
point.
With the game of the quarterback.
And Fred Waters might be back this week for the Niners, so that's huge.
Wow. I went from not even thinking about Josh Allen and then being like, wait a minute. If the wide receivers are that pared down, I think I would do and this might sound weird because I usually like stars and scrubs, but I think I would just pay up for Shakir, though. I just pay up for the certainty.
Yeah, no, I probably start with that. Like I said, I go Josh Allen, Shakir, and then if I don't do Kincaid, then I do at least one of the other wide receivers.
Right, one of the two.
Like that's my core start.
Yeah. That's another.
Hell, I might do Kincaid and one of the other wide receivers, depending on what I think Josh Allen's going to do against Denver.
Yeah, that's not a bad start.
Truthfully, if I'm stacking a game, like, something tells me that Darnold or Purdy might be the way to go. Like, Darnold should have an easy time, so Purdy should be having to throw. So I might go Purdy, McCaffrey, Jennings, Tunges, something like that.
Yeah, I think we will see a lot of game stacks, though. Because, like you said, people will just take that quarterback. They'll take the tight end. Like, if you do a Drake May stack, who we haven't talked about, you're just going to take May.
Trey, Diggs, Henry.
And Henry, yeah.
Yeah. Start with that. Really, the thing is to then add the running back from the team. So, like, that's the real key. Is like, could you just do Allen, Cook, Shakir? That's the real question, is would you do Allen, Cook together?
I think you would get different doing the Cook thing. We've done it in season, but Cook coming off the bad game this last week, I do think his ownership will be lower.
Against the best rush defense, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Wait,
you've seen the stat where like there's like 200 extra pounds from the defensive line or offensive line of the Bills to the defensive line of the Broncos? Like, the Bills are just a monster compared to them and should be able to run the ball. They should. Every offensive lineman has like 25 pounds on every defensive line or more.
Interesting. See, that's one of the stats that seems like, wow, that's like what. And then you start thinking about it, like, that is a big difference. Like, that should make a gameplay difference. I think I'd go back to Cook, even though he only got 7 points. Like, you got to go back to somebody at this point. I feel like you can't just box score. I mean, everyone's going to want to play CMC. He almost put up 30 points. He's a good player regardless of what he did last week. But I think Cook could have just as good of a week.
I agree. The Bills are the best when Cook is playing well. I mean, Josh Allen, Superman, I know, but the Bills play the best when Cook is having a good game.
Stafford, they have all year. They have been the running game team all year.
Yeah. Stafford's just going to be the lowest owned quarterback this next upcoming week, right? Because it's harder to stack. Or you think people? You don't think so? I don't know, man.
I think it's Stroud.
Yes, you're probably right. Because Nico. Yeah, Stroud's probably the guy you fade of all the quarterbacks. Like, he'll be the lowest owned. The Collins news is important. I don't think Collins will play, but if he does, it would be. I mean, that concussion looked pretty bad. It'd be an interesting decision. I'm not even sure the order of the games, if they're the last game or what. But if you're playing the 6th game, you got to pay attention to injuries this week.
Well, it's 4 games now, but
oh yeah. The 6th game was really fun, but even I lost track of okay, I still have guys. Like, it was fun, but it felt like a marathon. I'll be honest. I'm still recovering.
I played all showdowns.
Yeah.
Focus on each game individually.
That was probably a good way to go. I just thought there was a real advantage to dive into the 6th gamer.
There were also advantages to playing just the 2-gamer or the 3-gamer on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, there was. I did get some Robinson in the sportsbook as well. We always talk about diversifying your portfolio. I'll say it again, like that's a smart way to play. I know a lot of people, some people were mad that Hampton, for example, only played 1 snap. But if you jumped on that Chargers game, for example, early, when you saw that, Hampton's probably not a thing. And
yeah, he tried.
But in the pregame, that's what I'm saying, Donnie. If you jumped on it, Vidal right up into game time only had he was plus numbers at 30 yards. So if you were paying attention, you could easily snag that and got some profit. Was there anything else in the weekend you guys want to mention before we get out of here?
Drake May's undefeated in the playoffs. Never lost.
Dude, he's good.
Really? We're going to start that now? Really? Really? Really?
The Justin Herbert discourse is strange, though. But it's strange the narratives we assign to quarterbacks, because there was a time, Donnie, where Stafford was made of glass. He was never gonna be a long-term quarterback, and now he's playing until he's like almost 40 years old with Aaron Rodgers still. So, and then he's part of this terrible Lions team. He'll never win a Super Bowl. That things can change really quickly. I agree you have a monster quarterback in Drake May, but don't get ahead of your skis too much.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. All right, that's how you're going to play it? All right. All right. Okay. Football gods are watching. Just going to say it.
Speaking of football gods, Gov, I was really impressed with your Panthers. I think I've always thought this. I think Young can actually be a quarterback in the league. I don't think the Panthers should move on from Young.
Yeah, we basically should have won that game, but the gods said no. Stafford is going to win, and then they also gave. Not only did they do that, they gave him the first game of Wild Card Sunday, and then when do the Rams play? Are they the early Sunday or the late Sunday game?
I hope they're the late Sunday. I think they're
Patriots are Sunday at 3. 4.
So
maybe?
the Rams are Sunday at. So they gave Stafford the most amount of time off.
Yes.
Just saying. So the 1 seeds are playing on Saturday.
Yeah, they've tried. Yeah. Well, at least we don't have the Steelers in the playoffs anymore. That's just a team I'm glad for DFS purposes.
No more Tomlin.
It's not
for a year.
Tomlin is stepping away for a year. Yes.
With that being said, though, I guess the Bills news is interesting to monitor. We'll have to decide what to do there. As much as I want to play Stafford, just having no rushing ability and having to pretty much double stack him for the Rams would probably keep me off. I want to see this. That's what I was going to say to close for myself. My last bit of notes from the weekend. I want to see what happens with the Panthers offense when you have more than just Tet. I want you to put Tet with another good stud wide receiver and really build out that offense and see what you got. Because
there'll probably be 1 or 2 that are going to get traded. Like Stephon Diggs will get pissed as soon as we get to the off season. You know that.
Yeah.
AJ Brown's probably on the market. There'll be some disgruntled receivers I can go get. But honestly, I wanted to ask you one question before we left. It's sort of a future question.
Go ahead.
Do you think any of the fired head coaches get a head coaching job?
That's a good question.
Not Harbaugh, because Harbaugh is getting a head coaching job after the league.
Yeah.
Will any of the other guys who are not head coaches anymore get a head coaching job?
3 of them.
3 of them will get, and not like a coordinator. I mean, another head coaching job. That's usually unlikely. Usually they go back and be a coordinator somewhere for a year.
Yeah.
I'm saying who's going to just straight up be another head coach?
I don't know. I think it comes down to Mike McDaniels and John Harbaugh.
Yeah, McDaniels and Harbaugh are 2 big ones.
Yeah.
But they end up being a coach somewhere else. More likely Harbaugh, yes, and McDaniels will be an OC somewhere, but who knows? He might end up being a head coach somewhere.
But there's some good OC jobs open. I expect the Chargers to move on from Roman. I could be wrong, But the Lions have an opening. Like there's some really good OC jobs where you can almost take that OC job and be in a really good position, similar to what Tomlin's doing. There's rumors that Tomlin's going to go into the booth of television, kind of take that backseat, and then be a wanted commodity coming into next year. I think that might be the move for a lot of these young offensive-minded guys. I'm not as high on John Harbaugh as a lot of people are. I think a lot of people think he's a culture builder. I'm not so sure he's the best head coaching candidate available. What do you think of? You asked the question, but what do you think?
I thought McDaniels might get hired, honestly. That was my one that I was thinking other than Harbaugh. I could see McDaniels maybe even being like Arizona's head coach.
Oh, I haven't thought about Arizona with the.
As long as Matt Nagy
gone, yeah. What was that, Donnie? As long as who?
Matt Nagy isn't hired.
Oh God. Yes, please. Let's not do that ever again.
He's got like 4 interviews.
Yeah, I think he will get hired.
Oh God, I think I'm dying. Oh God.
It's gross.
It is.
Trust me, that phone call that interrupted wasn't me getting a head coaching job. I can promise you that at least. But with that being said, we'll wait on the offseason news. I don't know. I think the move is, though, to take one of these OC jobs. I think if I was a prime candidate waiting for a head coaching job, I would wait another year. I'd go to like Kansas City. I'd go to Detroit. I'd try to build up one of these good offenses. But I do think John's going to take the Miami job, which I think would be the worst job for him. But I think that's the job he'll take with Stephen Ross, knowing how that will work. So there's my prediction for you. But I'm going to get out of here on this. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back on Friday for the lineup builder. Hopefully we'll have a winner. We haven't had too many winners, but I thought we've been really close. We've been so close that I feel like if you would have taken our shell or some of our core ideas in these lineups and applied your own theory and your own thoughts behind it, you might have come up with some good lineups. But we'll try to get you a winner next week. With that being said, good night, guys.
Peace out, everyone.